So within the Mabinogion, there is a woman named Rhiannon, who, for reasons of her own, we never really know what they are, takes a vow that her son will never be given a name, will never be given arms or weapons, unless she gives them to him herself, and will never have a human wife. Now her brother, Goewin, for reasons of his own, could not tolerate that and took steps to trick her into giving her son a name and weapons. Two of the times he disguised the child, once as a cobbler, and she named him from seeing him throw a stone to hit a bird. The second time he dressed him as a bard, and under pretense of them being under attack, she armed him. And the third, the wife, he and his uncle Mathonwy made a woman out of flowers, named her Blodeuwedd, and she became his wife. The marriage didn't work well. She chose another lover. They tried to kill him, and as punishment, she was turned into an owl to live in the forest. That's the basics of the story. And the poem I've named Blodeuwedd, and it is she who's speaking. Made of flowers. Did you make me, wise Mathonwy, wizard prince of Goewin, to void a shamed mother's wrath? 3 times tricked, Rhiannon, did you see her and laugh? Once to gain a name, was it good? Unknown to bring the skilled shoemaker, his deathstone killing from a fair hand thrown, Goewin giggling at his cleverness, his sister left alone. Twice to gain a sword, to bring a false tale of siege with a false bard, her son to regale, his very song betrayal. She buckled on the blade herself, oh no, you could not fail. A tinged sharp bequeathed to save her life, 3 times spoke the angry words, neither knife nor shield nor name he'd have, unless bestowed his mother by, nor any human wife. So, for your niece's son, your sister's son's sister's son, you gathered oak, chestnut, broom for maiden's hair, hawthorn, 2, 9 wild flowers, and named me Blodeuwedd, the earth in bloom, given in gift to flower givers then, whom death would never visit, only when, and his mother's mind scorned again. Did you think I would not dare take my own choice of men? Now I will screech and howl in the dark wood, my wide flower face bright under night's hood, take the mouse and vole for food, scare the other birds with the scathing glower of my mood. Though you may deem thyself a woman's maker, formed of flowers, letting not a harsh wind shake her for her beauty's sake, be wise, Mathonwy. Her choice is never yours to take. The anger of Blodeuwedd. quite justified, I think, in many ways. Another story in the Mabinogion concerns the Prince Pool, who at the midwinter feast would demand that they would not eat until they had seen a wonder, a marvel. And this midwinter, reports came of a woman seen riding on horseback, the most beautiful horse, the most beautiful woman. And Poole went to see her, saw her riding on the road far ahead, called for his horse so he could catch her up, and rode and galloped and rushed and hurried and ran as fast as he could. But no matter how fast he ran, no matter the speed of his horse, she was always out of reach, far away. That woman was later known to be Rhiannon, a goddess with ties to the birds and the horses. But this is the poem called Rhiannon of Poole's Ride. Riding at unhurried pace, a white horse, she clad in gold. Me a race behind, caught in a blind chase. Her with gleam on cloth and hair, undisturbed by wind or travel. I despair, bite hard upon the blighted air. She, seated tall and sedate, untroubled by the miles, I, close to dead, in haste curse the waste ahead. She at ease, through summer grove and heather-banked moors lightly stepped. I move, screaming limbs and dreaming love. Steady on the mountainside and quiet as the valley her side, ride I an avalanche, staunch pride. And gentle as the last wave over sand, she light as spray, my craving her, or else my early grave. Horse and rider lose their way, she alone disappearing like the day. Lady! Cried at last, please stay. On the far road she disappeared in mist, turns into a voice severe, fiercely present. She is here. For all his efforts and wildness and rage, he couldn't make her stay, and she would not stay until he asked. The first poem, Blodeuwedd, featured Math at Mathonwy and his nephew Goewin. And of course, it's from Math that I take my name. Not much is known about him, other than he was ruler of Gwynedd, except for this one strange thing, that if he was not at war or at hunting, he had to sit with his feet in a girl's lap. We don't know why. But her name was Goewin. And as this poem reveals, Gwydion's brother Mathonwy, another nephew of Math, and Goewin raped her. And this poem focuses more on the punishment that Math meted out to them, and touches a little on that old, erroneous, false idea of men being animals and sort of uncontrollable and not in control of their feelings, which is such a lie and a false thing, since we are not animals, we are humans, and we think and we decide and we choose things. But that's pertinent to the punishment that Math gives out to them. Goewin. My name is Math. I must, to keep my life, rest my feet in a girl's lap, both willing and no one's wife, unless there be inclemency of war. With you, Goewin, I remain gently held, the land secure. But sister's son, Mathonwy, you have caused the fighting, calls me away. With your brother Goewin forced the doors and took the maid against her say. All heard her shouts of protest. Goewin, I ask, with me stay, to take the might of Gwyneth for your own, queen of my land, queen of Math, that the right for you may be done. Too clever, Gwydion, what is to do? To mete out vengeance over each your false brother and you pair. But pare you down and pare you up, as hart and buck, boar and sow, each to bear the other's pup. You're turned to hind, with hide of fired gold, your brother to stag, chasing over hill till sun is fold. Your brother is turned to sow in woods wild, rooting now with you as boar to litter a piglet child. Turn you next to bitch, your high silver yelp calls your brother wolf, howl through mountain tops till sun is whelped. You came to me holding your own want higher. If you must burn, I'll make you yearn for what you least desire. Those three first triad poems from the Mabinogion are all in my first book, the Sabrina Bridge, if how well you can see that. But I do hope there'll be more in that vein, and there is one other in that vein to finish this 6 poems. 2 now about Mathonwy, inspired by the character, and another about him and his sister Don, about whom not very much is known, other than the Irish know her as Danu. So it's a very short one called Mathonwy. She said, bring me something. Bring me empty hands. It is enough. I gave myself out of female self, math out of female math. It felt too much. But where nothing was before, my sister Don matched me with another day and night. And Math said, she is my sister, and from her all tribes flow, womb out of womb out of womb. Was it I, her brother, in whom the blood first stopped? Out of womb, into dam, into building headwaters. She pitied me, spared me from our mother's wrath, taught me spear play, how to spill, in bed, in battle, in hunt. Soon her sons were running riot. And I, restraint, sat my feet in the lap of a girl who could hold her own. Men, the new unknown, looking for all from their mother, looking to rule their wife. We, who were not here before, unreleased, till blood is taken from us, exiled from the river. My sister, have pity, have pity. And Don said, the river runs in tides, my brother, yearly floods, summer droughts, into the sea. I feel a splash beneath my lip, my breast and belly, rolling down my thigh into my daughters, into my sons. It rolls there too, in seeming found and round, but sometimes into silence of the blood, sometimes into stillness of the breath, into tides, into yearly floods, into summer droughts, and you, the new unknown. Rest your feet in her lap, brother. She can hold her own. A creating roar goes through your womb, brother. Gain release through the feathered flames across your back. Your hand slack will have my pity, my pity. No real story attached to those two, other than a reflection upon their natures, Mathonwy and his sister Don. This last, I don't know if I've read live before. I can't remember. I don't think I have. But it goes back to the first three in a similar vein. And it mentions again Pool, but mainly it mentions Rhiannon, the otherworldly woman he chased on horseback. I wonder how much of the story to give you. I'll give you this. That their child, their first and only child, was, well, disappeared in the night. And she was accused of murdering him. Thus. But she did not say a word in her own defense, only took the punishment meted out to her, given to her in order to prevent the king having to divorce her or put her to death. It was only when a neighbouring lord saw that the orphan child, the foundling child that he had raised with his wife, looked so like Pool and Rhiannon, he thought they must be their son. And so he returned the child to them. This is that child returning to meet for the first time his mother and his father, finding that her penance, her remorse, her punishment was to meet people who came to the castle and carry them from the gates into the hall upon her back. Again, harking back to the horse goddess she is. So this is that child speaking as he, and the poem is called Pryderi. Rhiannon stoops to set me on her back and bear me on the road. Her pace is slack, her clothes are ragged and black, she is silent. Accusations have been made. Her child's lack, his absence from the crib, is not explained. She said no word, nor why her mouth was stained with blood, or colour else strained from her face to hear the condemnation unrestrained, as those set to mind the babe spoke with dread of fearsome cries in darkness, the fire dead, of bones scattered near the bed, Rhiannon waking wild-eyed. The nursewomen fled, calling to Pool and Oon, see what your wife, your otherworldly queen, has done. The life of your baby boy with knife she's torn out and eaten, in her mood and mother strife. Silent she, who'd rode serenely with command, Pool dashing loud after to make her stand, no power in his whipping hand, only asking, lady, please, will you stay, queen of my land? And the boy, a request for a king's heir from the folk, give us child, or within a year we'll turf her out by her hair. A half-blood, the demand answered, accepted with fear. This the one who'd bear me now, silent horse, and all who come to Narberth gates, the forced upon repentance, remorse and cold shame, keeping her from death and the king's divorce. Woman from another world, knowing words thrown against a torrent are never heard, twist the clear into absurd, keeps her counsel, holds communion only with her birds. The truth, of course, is stranger than the tale, and must be heard with the heart. The soft veil may flutter in the fraught gale, but keep silence, hush. Truth is sturdy, 'tis belief is frail. I would have this known, set against the stain. Upon your back I'll shelter you from rain, heal and remedy your pain. You've borne me once before. Mother, come, bear me again. Rhiannon found the child after a fight against a monster to defend a newborn colt. He and his wife raised the boy as his own, as their own, till the resemblance to Pool and Rhiannon became obvious. They returned him to his parents, and Rhiannon then named him Pryderi, anxiety.